right, welcome back, everybody. It's another fantastic episode. I don't mind saying so myself of Mrs. Pie, and I'm here with my friend Jacob. We have a lot to talk about, but first of all, I just wanted to say I am so glad you're here, honestly. I've been waiting for this conversation for quite some time.
Yes, I am so excited to be here. So I really appreciate you being patient so our schedules can align.
Yeah. So, all right. So, everybody, I want to give just a really quick do all my admin influencer things. I got to get this out of the way. So, huge thank you to everybody who's watching. Yes, I am aware that we've lost our link on Facebook. The video will also be on YouTube, so you can catch the replay. But just want to do a quick shout out to the folks who are watching us on LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitter. And definitely want to say hello to all of our friends and fam over at Parade Deck Live TV. You know you're on live TV, Jacob.
I do now.
Welcome to the Parade Deck Live TV. So I want to set the stage for why we have you here, because I know for a fact, I know this for a fact, that Wounded Woodworkers, the organization that you've started, is just one of those. In my estimation, it's more than just art. You're really creating opportunities for wounded warriors to and veterans to tell stories through pictures and your custom wood engraving services, and really helping preserve memories. So as I was thinking about having you come on, and I know I dropped the title Impacting Lives One Masterpiece at a Time, and you guys will understand why that is the more we're talking to Jacob. But I really wanted to make sure that, hello, Dumping Ground Podcast. See, and you're on somebody else's podcast on top of that. So I really wanted to just take the time, though, to find out a little bit more about your why. Like, how did you get this started? What is Wounded Woodworkers, and how did you get your business started?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And it evolved. So I transitioned from the military like many other veterans, and I had no idea what I wanted to do next with my life. You know, that whole, what am I going to do when I grow up? It hit me. So I lucked out. My military transition was, it came at a very quick time. I wasn't expecting to get out of the military. Military ended up cutting my contract and giving me a severance, which was very interesting. Didn't know the military did that, but
yeah, me neither.
Yeah. So here I am, young, and had a lot of money. So I ended up purchasing a workshop. I had done woodworking in the past, and I enjoyed doing that. I loved building things and working with my hands, and honestly found it very therapeutic and kind of helped me overcome some of the invisible wounds of war that I didn't really realize I had, and started inviting other veterans over. And we were kind of more of a club or a group at the time. We just build stuff, sell it at craft fairs, reinvest the money, and buy better tools or equipment or take on bigger projects. And it was just very exciting at first. So that's really how it started out, and it just evolved over the years. I didn't realize the liability part, having a bunch of veterans over your house with power tools. So quickly ended that after a couple of years of doing it. Had a close call and realized it's probably not the best thing to continue doing. So I got the laser and started building things with the laser engraver, and found that there was a huge gap for photos, and those could be used for bereavement, retirement, just because, gifts, pets, anything really. And I found that, through that, I could still give back to organizations that can do the therapy or therapeutic things that I could no longer do liability wise. So I still felt like I was able to give back and contribute to others. And I just kept the name because it means a lot to me, having that group and seeing where we began. So yeah.
Wow. I love the, I was going to ask you about the tools and technology, but before we get there, I just wanted to double down a little bit on what you were talking about, really around the community of veterans. And I dropped a thank you to our veterans We are part of a community that is, I am quite well aware that also that, again, of which we're kind of family members here. That is an entire that's an entire, a story in itself about Parade Deck and all of the veterans that we serve through this content. And so what we want to do is to make sure that we're sharing inspiration and encouragement, but I really want to make sure that, y'all, this is a real person doing incredible things, right? That is so important. So as you were talking about the community that you were building up, and you started to look into this as a way to preserve and engrave memories. And I thought this was really important. And this is what was so unique. And just to give y'all some background, I met Jacob through an organization called the Rosie Network, and y'all need to check them out, especially if you're a veteran and you're interested in starting a business. So shout out to the Rosie Network as well. But I was thinking about the way that we approach engraving and preserving memories, and what I think makes your business so successful and growing and even more successful, and you can see it coming, right? It's also the care that you put into the products that you sell. So can you talk a little bit about what are some of the products that you basically sell? And this is a service, y'all. So what are some of the products that you sell, and what are some of the clients that what are some of the stories that they're telling through the memories that you're engraving?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting, actually. This year I've done 4 retirement gifts for some CEOs of pretty large organizations, and I never really expected that, but it happened from word of mouth and people just seeing what I do. And you can give every senior leader the same retirement gift, and it's cool and all, and traditions are great, but if you really want to give something unique and impactful to someone that's great, that they've never seen before, or they don't have, then this is a good alternative. And some of the other folks, I'd say the main customer experienced some type of loss, and I'm pretty good with people. I'm really good at speaking with them and understanding what they're going through. And, I spend a lot of time really just hearing their story, whether they lost a loved one or even a furry friend. We all enjoy those companions. And I spend a lot of time understanding the story behind the photo before I actually start creating it, because I enjoy learning about others. It's an interesting way to learn about my, customers and their families and whatever they care about, and then ensuring I can represent that well when I engrave it. So, it's exciting.
So that's the customization, but also the personalization and the service that you offer. What is it? So for those who are not aware, and what is the scan? What is this barcode that's behind you?
Oh yes. So for those of you that can see this,
yes.
It's all my contact information. So it'll bring you to the website, my LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, my phone number, email, whatever. It's all there. So if you're just listening in, then you'll have to check it out.
Yeah, we'll get you covered. Don't worry about it. We'll drop the info. I love that. So, okay. So the technology is, and the way you're approaching it. So traditionally when people have memories, we use memories digitally, or, back in the day, most of us had, the paper pictures, right? And we, basically, again, I'm dating myself, but we'd have photo albums, and then those things would kind of rot out over time because it's paper. And so now the ability to use, for example, premium wood and engrave the stories onto those types of products. Is that how it works? Like, how does the technology work?
Sure. So honestly, it's interesting how it works, and I'm really surprised that not more people do this. I found it very easy.
That's why you're a pioneer.
Yeah, like honestly, this came really easy and naturally to me, and other people struggle terribly with photos and engraving them. So I sometimes give tips to others. I don't mind, because there's plenty of customers out there for all of us.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that. But I spend time editing the photos. That's probably the most important part, especially if the photo is not a high quality photo. So
Okay.
quality matters. If it's done by a professional photographer, then obviously it's going to come out really good. I've taken pictures of pictures. So like I'm talking really old photos from way back in the day. There were yellow photographs from like a gentleman working on his farm with his donkeys. I mean, this is
Wow.
old. And we took a picture of it with our cell phone, edited it. It worked, but it doesn't come out as good as, a photographer's photo. So, quality matters. So you got to spend a lot of time making the edits and ensuring everything is done well. And then after that, with the equipment, it's as simple as uploading it, positioning the product, and, pushing the button. I've got my 3-year-old, she handles the button pushing for me. So, if I'm in the other room, I'll send it to the laser and I'll send her off and she'll go start the machine for me. It's pretty convenient.
I love that. So it ends up being a family affair then, right? Because it sounds like what you've started is definitely something that is, generational, something that you can inspire both your kids to. And I say both. Jacob is. There's another blessing of a baby coming soon, so we're excited about your new little one coming here shortly in a couple of weeks. So there'll be another team member on staff for Jacob's organization. So let me ask. I wanted to find out, what are some of maybe the milestones? You mentioned that you were able to create basically these awesome gifts and these memories for CEOs of the organization. We're not going to drop their names here, but he's doing very well, y'all. Okay. What are some of the other milestones you've had in your journey as the CEO of a woodworking company?
Yeah. Well, first would be just learning what I was doing and what I was supposed to do. And I'll bring in the Rosie Network for this one. I've been doing this for 7 years as a hobbyist. A profitable hobbyist is what I called myself. So, making just enough money that you don't have to file taxes or be an official business, which I think is like just under 2,000 annually. So, every state and county I think is a little bit different, but
yeah.
I was just doing them here and there for friends and family, and honestly, I signed up for the Rosie Network as it's a program that I often tell other warriors and spouses about, just based on what I knew from reading the flyer as a cool opportunity. And I wanted to go through it so I was more knowledgeable on what I'm telling others to sign up for. And in my cohort, I learned a lot. A lot of the things that I should be doing as a business owner. And, some of my members of my cohort really motivated me. Were telling me about how awesome the product is. And, they were very interested in what I was doing. And, honestly, it took others to really motivate me to do more. And honestly, once I started applying some of the tools and resources, things really progressed quickly. And that was very exciting for me because I've tried to go to the gym many times to lose weight, and I usually give up, because I don't see results. And, so I found that, just being consistent with processes and actually using tools and having a roadmap of, hey, you got to do this, this, and this. Well, now it makes sense to me because that's how the military trained me is, hey, these are what you're supposed to do, or these are the items that you should work on. So having those steps and resources in place truly helped me out. So, I feel like that was the biggest milestone, is just going from hobby to business and then focusing on growing that.
Okay. What advice would you share with veterans? Maybe they're veterans who are transitioning from the military life into what I was going to say, private sector, or maybe they're veterans who are thinking about starting a business, but they're kind of concerned. What advice would you give to those veterans?
Yeah, definitely. Well, first off, I'd say veterans and military spouses make the best entrepreneurs. So
Yes.
sorry for all the civilian entrepreneurs out
That's a
there.
fact, by the way. That's actually data.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be very good at what you do as long as you apply it. But I'd say the best piece of advice would be to find out what you're passionate about early. For me, it took a lot longer than it probably should have, like most things in my life. Finding out what you enjoy doing, what you're passionate about, and then if you can make money doing it too, I mean, that's really nice also. So, but I mean, finding the passion is important. Whether you want to become an entrepreneur or start your own business, or if you're just looking for a career, you don't
Yeah.
have to be stuck doing what you've always done. There's a lot of opportunity out there. Like I didn't know a lot of these jobs existed till I was out of the military. So I only knew that hey, there's this many MLSs and this is what you can do. So when I got out, I was like, wow, there's this job, and you could make your own job. So there's a lot of possibilities that you can do as long as you put your mind to it and you're consistent with what you do.
Wow. So what do you think is next for Wounded Woodworkers?
Yeah, well, that's a good question too, because as I've been finally motivated to do this work and get consistent with it, and things are growing and developing a lot quicker than I thought they would. I now have a new child coming very soon, so that's a good question. I feel like growth is still going to happen. I'm still very motivated to grow and develop this, because honestly, the more that Wounded Woodworkers grows, the bigger impact we can make on the community, because I donate a percentage of every sale back to organizations to help veterans and military spouses. So I feel like the bigger or the more growth helps make that goal. And I know that I shouldn't have said the goal because I don't have it written down yet. But my first milestone goal, really, and I set it really high on purpose, and I'd like to hit $1 million in donations. So obviously, I need way more sales than that to hit that number. But I mean, I think that would make me very proud and happy, and I'd be very excited to give back that amount to organizations that can do the work and help veterans and military spouses, because that's what I'm passionate about. However, I can't do that at the capacity as these other organizations can. So if I can do my part and help them do that, I'm excited for that.
And that's the support heroes part of Engraved Memories Support Heroes, right? It is, at the end of the day, it's your heart is in it for veterans and mil spouses, as you said. And so that's the purpose behind all of this, is not just creating another product. So that's part of why I had to have you come on, because I do stand behind what you do, and your heart is very evident. For those of y'all who don't know, Jacob also gives free advice on LinkedIn and a lot of encouraging posts. So I do stalk him for that information as well. So I'm just throwing it out there that we're talking about Wounded Woodworkers here, but he is a well-rounded veteran, and just absolutely honored to know you as a person. So just want to throw that out there, like this is the person that you want to go read his post. It's not just Wounded Woodworkers, but just well-rounded. So I wanted to find out from you around your motivation, because I think that one of the things that I say this all the time when I have people come on my show, I try to let the audience know, or I try to say this just so that we're clear. A lot of times people see your success and they don't understand that there was a journey in order for you to get here. A lot of times they're seeing what's been in play for 10 years and we're talking about it now, but there is a lot of hard work and commitment that went into it. And so I wanted to find out from you, what has kept you motivated over this time? What keeps you motivated?
Yeah, well, the $1 million donations keeps me motivated for sure. And, the encouragement and support I get from my family, my friends, and even my customers. I mean, I've been doing this for 8 years and I have not got a negative review or any poor feedback about anything that I've done. It's all been
Wow.
excellence. So, no, I don't need someone to start giving me them now, but, I'm proud to do that. And I'm proud that everyone is happy with what they get. Most of the time it's tears. So, it is interesting when I get them their gifts. I like to hand deliver when I can because I really enjoy that moment. Sometimes I try to get my clients to video me, FaceTime or whatever when they open it, but they can't always do that. Just because I like to be a part of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like seeing the whole process through. It excites me, and as we grow, I probably won't be able to do that as much. But that's one of my favorite parts. But you're right. Everyone usually sees the success, and I've gotten this question a lot in the career coaching realm because people see that and they see like, yeah, I've got all this information and all these resources, and yeah, but I've been in the HR field for 10 years, and
That's right.
I've got a lot of mentors and coaching myself. So same thing with the entrepreneur stuff and the laser work. I've been doing it for 8 years, so it's not something I picked up overnight. You should, if you're really interested, you can go to my Facebook and scroll all the way to the beginning and see my terrible work that's still there. It exists. I've made things that I look at now and I'm like, wow, I can't believe I made that. It's awful. So I'm glad that I've gotten a lot better, and I'm at a place where people are paying for product now, and I'm not just trying to sell it at a craft fair because nobody wanted it. So, but yeah, I mean, I started out and I was awful, and you can definitely grow your talent and get better, but you got to be passionate about it. You got to enjoy it. And you got to put the time in. That's the one. That's the biggest part is, it takes a lot of time to perfect what you do.
That's powerful. And I think, again, that's why I like to ask this question, because, again, people see, they're coming on and seeing where you are right now, but there are a lot of people who need to understand the journey behind it, and also just to be encouraged that, if you just at least get started, right? Because what was your first thing? Do you remember what your first thing that you made? Maybe it was the awful thing, but what was your first thing that you made?
Well, so just in general, woodworking, the first thing was a live edge table. And I tried to epoxy it. And anyone that's dealt with epoxy knows it's temperamental, right? So if you don't mix it well enough, or you don't cure it, or the temperature is not right, this thing cured, and it was just so sticky. And there was no fixing it, right? And this table, by the way, it was a bunch of seashells my wife and I got from the Dominican Republic. It was supposed to be this beautiful table for our living room and have all these memories encapsulated in it. And it was a disaster. It was ruined. I could not fix it. And you can't just take them out. It's like cemented in there. And so, I mean, it was awful. And, I've done awful laser stuff too. Luckily with that, I'm able to fix it and refine the process before the customer gets it, but, I mean, stuff happens, and you just got to make sure that, hey, you learn from it and don't do that again,
I love that. Yeah, you do. Yeah, at least start somewhere and then fix what you can, and what you can't, just ditch it and move on. Right? Don't waste your time trying to figure out like what went wrong or all of those things. So I'm coming down to a couple more questions, and I wanted to just ask you a question separate from being a businessman, but as a father, as a husband, a dad, like I'm throwing all these terms out, as a veteran. But I wanted to find out from you if you had any advice or encouragement that you could give other dads who are, again, within the veteran and milspouse community. Because there's a lot of folks who are really struggling right now, and I'm always tuned into like what we can do or say to encourage folks who aren't in a place, like they have the dreams, they can't get there for whatever the reason is. And so I wonder if you wouldn't mind sharing some encouragement with those members of our families.
Yeah, and honestly, this is probably gonna be the worst advice ever. So take it with a grain of salt, because I feel like I'm a lot different. I care about my family way more than the success of Wounded Woodworkers and my dream and my passion. And if my daughter wants to hang out and play with dad or cuddle on the couch or play hide and seek, well, I'm gonna do that. And I feel like that is just time I cannot get back. I've lost way too much time spending overseas. I've been overseas 3 times. Not fun. It's time you don't get back. You've been in the field training. That's time you don't get back. I work a full time job. Those 40 hours I don't get back. My commute I don't get back. So, as a dad, I want to make sure that when my child grows up or children grow up, they remember good memories, and we're still best buds even when we're adults, because I can put the time in for my business or my job, down the road. I don't have to do it all right now. And so if you're a new entrepreneur and you don't have the time and you're trying to pick which, well, that's a gut thing. You'll have to go down your passion and your business, and hopefully it's successful. But I'm a family guy, so I'm not passing up those opportunities.
Wow, I love that. And I appreciate you saying that. I think, again, sometimes people just need to be encouraged. And like I said, we've talked about your journey. You're creating something amazing, and it's going to last for as long as you want it to. And it's generational. You already have your baby girl involved, and new baby will be involved as well. But we just want to make sure that people feel like, listen, at the end of the day, it really is about our families. Like we're doing this for them, and you have to actually be there to participate in that life, so that there's a balance between being a successful business owner and also being a dad. And you're rocking it out. I'm so grateful. First of all, I'm just glad you said yes to come on. Whenever people say yes, I'm like, they did it. It's a yes. I'm so grateful, honestly. Before we close out, I just want to make sure that there's nothing else that you wanted to share. I don't want to lose any time with you. So is there anything else that you wanted to share with our audience?
Yeah, two things. And I'll go back to that last question. So I make up that extra time, by the way, for the business. I get up early every day before any of my family members get up, and I work on social media posts or respond to clients, and I stay up late, after people go to bed. I'm still doing things. It takes a lot of time and effort as you're beginning. Hopefully, things will grow and develop, and I can hire people to help me, so I don't have to spend all hours of the day doing this. But I do make up that time when others are asleep. So I take care of my family when I can, and then when they're asleep, I take care of the business. And then one thing that took me a while to realize is you really need to operate in your strength zone, and don't waste time trying to improve what you're weak at or what you're terrible at, because there's other people out there that are great at it, and you can rely on them. Like, I've got a lot of great mentors who are way better at things than I am, and I focus on what I'm good at, and then I try to get help in those other areas from experts. So always just get better at what you're already good at, because you're never going to be great at your weakness.
Wow, that is powerful. And that is a whole Instagram clip and TikTok reel that I'll be I am not ashamed that I'm be prepared to see it a lot. Y'all, that is perfect. That is a better way of saying staying in your lane. Right? Stay in your lane, but master your lane. Like, stay in your lane. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much for coming. Obviously I'm going to be all in your business anyway, stalking you as I do on social media, because I want to see baby pictures. I love the reels that you do, and when you're showing your products, I feel like I made it. I feel like I was in the process. So those revealing some of those work, it's so inspiring to see that. I am so thankful for your service also as a veteran, and huge shout out to your wife, who is a mil spouse. And I just want to make sure that you get all of the recognition that you well deserve. Thank you for everything that you're also sharing on social media that's helping job seekers. There's a lot of free coaching advice from a job seeker perspective. It's literally all there. And the barcode, for those of y'all who are watching the video, you can see Jacob's there, but his information is also within the description of this video. For those of y'all who are listening to the podcast in a couple of days, y'all go back and replay everything because you're gonna miss it. It was so good, you're gonna miss it. So with that, I want to tell everybody, have a wonderful night. Jacob, we're gonna hang out in our back room, in our green room, our after party, as the kids put it. And thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.